What book would you recommend to people who haven't finished a book since high school?
The Martian. The book had me laughing out loud. My son did not know how a book about a man alone struggling for survival on Mars could be funny, but it is.
Jurassic Park. I know reading books after seeing the movies can sometimes be dull, but the book is way darker than the movie. Muldoon driving around drunk as fuck on whiskey, swearing like a sailor and blowing up dinos with a rocket launcher, for example.
Any book by John Ronson. He's a journalist who dives into cults, psychopaths, politics and other interesting stuff. Really accessible writing style. World War Z. Lots of short stories that tie into the greater story. I illegally downloaded it when I was really poor and liked it so much I brought it out of appreciation. Edit, greater. Second edit, not correcting spelling, whatever I do what I want. Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I hadn't read a book purely for pleasure in years. This August, I saw it on a bookshelf at my parents' home. Once I started, I couldn't put it down. Literally. I opened that book at 10 a.m., finished it at 8 p.m. the same day. Please go read it. Edit. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how much traction this comment got. Thank you all for the awards, upvotes, and replies. It's wonderfully magical to see the power that books have in connecting and inspiring us.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The Princess Bride. It's a delightful read, it's easy, and everyone I know that has read it has absolutely loved it. I've recommended it to several friends, including like 8 people in a work book club, and again, 100 100ths across the board. Edit. I love that so many people agree. Thanks for the awards. It's a wonderful book and a wonderful movie. Hop on Pop. I'm halfway done after 8 months and it's so good. Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. Premise: what if superheroes were the bad guys? It's yaw with though being shallow, first chapter that hooks you, long enough to take a while but not intimidating.
The Color of Magic. Discworld has got me back into reading again.
Ender's Game. I think it provides an excellent adventure, all the while giving you a most interesting perspective. Good Omens. It's short and funny. Interview with a Vampire. Star Wars. Heir to the Empire.
Old Man's War by you, Scalzi. You're welcome, John. Enjoy yet another 10 cents from me. The Martian by Andy Weir. Stephen King is pretty easy to read, quite engaging. Pick any book and start. Harry Potter if you've somehow managed to not read them yet. They're fun even if you're an adult. Edit. How the hell could I forget Good Omens? Edit 2. Look how popular this comment is, John. I think I must have made you a whopping $5. Enjoy that, Starbucks.
Slaughterhouse 5. It's engaging, profound and quite short. I rarely read books twice, but I've read it and Catcher in the Rye 3 times.
This is just filled with people listing their personal favorite law.
Terry Pratchett Reaperman.
The Giver by Lois Lowry. It is my all-time favorite. It isn't very long, but the story is amazing and was one of the first special teen changes utopian dystopia society by being special. It's absolutely amazing.
The Hobbit. It is a quick read and keeps you engaged the whole time. I know some say it is a kid's book, but I honestly think it is great at all ages. The Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Especially if you're into Greek mythology.
Born a Crime. It's a really easy read, and it's really funny and enlightening to a completely different culture and way of life.
John Dies at the End. The first chapter is hilarious and makes it clear that books aren't just the boring old things you read in school.
Small Gods by Terry Pratchett. It hits a sweet spot of humor and serious topics and is a relatively quick read that sticks with you. Just a great book to get started on both Discworld and a new reading habit.
The original Millennium Trilogy books by Stieg Larsson, especially the first book, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's definitely more grown-up than high school material. It's at its core a great thriller mystery novel which is rewarding but not difficult to read. The characters are very memorable, the story is well crafted, and the themes are very relevant both then and now. I'll add a caveat that the depictions of sexual violence and abuse in the book might be triggering for some, so people may want to consider that before starting.
The Hunger Games. I have never read a book faster.
The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I read a lot of fantasy and this is by far the best series I ever read. The sequel is even better. Only downside is that the last book in the trilogy has no release date in sight, so you'll be stuck in an endless search of other books to fill the void in your soul where book 3 should be.
Ready Player One. It has a good first chapter that hooked me. It's not a super tough read either and the story is great.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's a super easy, quick read and an absolute fucking delight.
The Dark Tower, The Gunslinger. It got me hooked on phonics again.
Animal Farm. It's easy, valuable, and short. Flowers for Algernon. Extremely easy read, eye-kick, great heartbreaking story.
Harry Potter, easy and enjoyable.
The Da Vinci Code. Yeah. A bit of a controversial book, but the extremely short chapters and the catching mystery is perfect for someone who has not read for a long time. With phones, TV, etc. reading requires concentration, which requires practice, so a book with chapters that short is ideal to start reading again. This is 100% the book you are looking for. Edit. As USJE46 pointed out, it's a work of fiction. Sometimes the book references some bit of history about some symbol, belief or place. The origin of Baphomet is the example I remember, and because it's a reference and not directly part of the plot you may end up believing that it's factual while it's not. Most bits of quotes history are made up.
Kitchen Confidential. Anthony Bourdain was an amazing storyteller. It is a short autobiography of his early years in the underbelly of American culinary scene.
American Gods by Neil Gaiman, or The Martian by Andy Weir.
The Book Thief. It is such a fantastic read. The story and storytelling are masterful.
Go the Fuck to Sleep, by Adam Mansbach. It's really short so you should be able to get that sense of accomplishment quickly and move on to something more challenging. If you're really desperate, I believe Samuel L. Jackson read the audiobook version.
All Quiet on the Western Front. Really depressing but really good.
Dracula. It got me interested in reading for enjoyment again.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. Really thought-provoking on so many different levels.
Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng and Mondays Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson are both very page-turner quick reads that don't have any of the triteness you might expect from something called a page-turner. I'm not sure I'd put either on an all-time list or anything, but they both pack serious and very different punches. I don't know if I've ever had a reading experience quite like the one I had with Mondays Not Coming.
Into Thin Air.
Old Man's War by John Scalzi. Great interesting take on war in space future. Netflix is making it into a movie too.
Jurassic Park. As fun a book as it is a film. Seconding all the recommendations for a bunch of books and adding my own. The Martian. Really just great if you have any interest in science fiction. Ready Player One if you were a 80s or 90s nerd, gamer. Dune. Good sci-fi, immersive world, you'll be in on it for the new Villanueva movie. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The main trilogy really pays off, is justice porn and I thought super worth it. Of Mice and Men. Steinbeck is great. This book is short and if it doesn't make you feel something, you won't have to waste your time with other books. Harry Potter. It was super popular for a reason even among adults. But you'll be in for 7 books. Gone Girl. It's not as girl-focused as you might think, and it is horrifying. Shogun. It's a big book, but it was so immersive.
Catch-22 is one of the most engaging, funny and heartbreaking books I've read. I really like how each chapter is mostly self-contained so it felt like each story was a chapter from a comic book.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. Anything by Kurt Vonnegut or Carl Hiaasen.
Dark Matter, Blake Crouch. Or Harry Potter.
The Stranger by Albert Camus. Super short read but it's very interesting and philosophical. It's written in very plain language so it should be easy to get through if you haven't read a book in a long time. I don't want to spoil anything about this one, just go in blind and thank me later. The Book Thief. This is one that I think everyone should read. It's a story about Nazi Germany from the perspective of death. Absolutely incredible from start to finish and it's written pretty simply so you won't have a hard time understanding the vocabulary. Shutter Island. This is one of my favorites in the mystery thriller genre. Absolute fucking page-turner, especially if you've never seen the movie, which is also great. This is another one I'd rather not spoil, just go in blind.
Agatha Christie.
A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Edit. This is the first Reddit award I have received. Thank you, kind stranger. Also, I'm so glad that others feel the same about this book as I do.